Coming up in the program, low lake levels. He iwi kotahi, a change for Freelance magazine, and Omega Levin, life after parachute. Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Wednesday, the 28th of January. I'm Hilary Entwistle. The lack of rain in the Bay of Plenty over the past few months means the Rotorua lake levels are low and further operational measures are being taken. Residents in the lake area, particularly around Lake Rotoiti, have expressed concern over falling lake levels. Lake Rotoiti is 50 millimetres below its preferred minimum level, while other district lakes are also very low. Bay of Plenty Regional Council is responding by operating the Okere gates close to minimum settings between 4 p.m. to 10 a.m. each day to maintain lake levels. This means commercial activity on the Kaituna River will only be permitted from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. as river flows are increased slightly to facilitate those activities. Bay of Plenty Regional Council Principal Engineering Surveyor Graham O'Rourke says these measures will be reassessed if conditions do not improve. Milk and soft drink bottles are being used to store fuel as some stock up and take advantage of the low fuel prices. Fuel prices are the lowest they've been in 5 years, but storing fuel at home can be highly dangerous. Z Energy's Health, Safety, Security and Environment Manager, Julie Rea, cautions customers to understand the risks before deciding to store fuel at home. The Environmental Protection Authority provides some useful guidelines on storing fuel on their website, including information on the relevant legal obligations. Mount Mauganui's controversial jandal fence is here to stay, with Tauranga City Council bowing to public pressure, for the summer at least. The collection of Kiwis' trusty footwear made yet another reappearance during the long weekend, despite a number of public complaints at the campground and the main TCC office that saw officials remove it earlier this month. Yesterday, about 765 jandals could be seen along the fence line, with red cable ties attaching each lost soul to the fence. The pop-up fence is near the stone steps on the southern side of Mowal and is in its third showing in 2 summers. Beach volleyball's rising stars are busy honing their skills with an array of spikes, sets and slams at this year's Volleyball New Zealand National Age Group Beach Championships. Mount Mauganui's main beach plays host to the 2-day event, showcasing 95 of the country's best teams, with teams converging from as far away as Southland and Northland to compete for national titles in the under 15, 17, 19 and 23 age groups. In 2014, the younger age groups were dominated by Taranaki, while Canterbury, North Harbour and Bay of Plenty took titles in the older age groups. Volleyball New Zealand Beach Volleyball Tour Director Tim Cleaver says with 95 teams on show, plenty of top-class action is expected with pool play and the start of quarterfinals getting underway yesterday. Now for our weather for Thursday. Hamilton, long fine spells and humid with light winds. You've got a high of 29, which sounds very humid, and an overnight low of 16. Waikato, long fine spells, humid with light winds as well. Paeroa 27 and 17. Matamata 25 and 17. Te Awamutu, you have that high of 29 as well and an overnight low of 16. Tokoroa 26 and 15. Tauranga, cloudy periods, drizzly patches later, light winds and a high of 26 and an overnight low of 19. For the rest of the bay, you can expect cloudy periods increasing in the afternoon and patchy drizzle developing. It's going to be humid in most places with light winds. Te Puke, your expected high is 25 and an overnight low of 17. Looking to the seas now, west coast, Raglan, southeast of 15 knots, but variable 10 knots south of Tiro Point. Your high tide is at 6:44 p.m. East coast by plenty, southeast 15 knots turning to a northeast of 15 knots. Cloudy periods and possibly drizzly at times. Your high tide in Tauranga will be at 3:32 in the afternoon. Still to come on the program, what's on in the art scene in Tauranga, and Omega Levin, life after parachute. Welcome back to Central News on TV Central. Well, if you like blues, summer and picnics, you may just want to head along to our next event.
It's a blues concert that we started 8 years ago because I'm a great blues fan, and we had the acreage there and the natural amphitheatre, and second year we built a stage which just lives there and only gets used once a year. And we, so we just carried it on. We started off with some international acts, the godfather of blues from Australia, Dutch Tildes, and Phil Manning, and a guy called George Washing Machine.
Wow.
They were fabulous, you know. So first year was a little bit slim on it, and we're still paying the bills from that.
No more international acts, though.
But you know, this year is the sort of the culmination of it all, and that we've got Tony Joe White coming from Nashville, and you know, he's a world famous blues artist, swamp blues, and his most famous song probably here is Poke Salad Annie, and he's coming out, and he's quite often in New Zealand doing a bit of fishing, but he doesn't always play music.
I was going to say, how do you get these international artists?
Oh, very carefully. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, and dealing with promoters and so on is always a bit of fun, you know, like, well, depends on what you call fun, really, but yeah. And then, so this year's lineup, Josh Durning starting off acoustic set. So, you know, we start off acoustic, we get into a bit of, you know, warms up during the day, and by the end of the day, everybody's in the mosh pit and it's rocking, you know. Yeah. But it's all blues, you know, it's all within your genre, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Blues, to me, sounds like, when I think of blues, you can think of your
Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee.
I was going to say Jimi Hendrix blues tribute. Or is that not a traditional blues?
Well, it's interesting because, you know, there's guys that would say that Jimi Hendrix is a blues guitarist, and I would say that he is a blues guitarist, but he just doesn't do it for me, right? I mean, there's some of his stuff that, you know, is okay, but it's a bit sort of hard, closer to hard rock than blues, you know. And great artist, fantastic, and you know, like, I mean, I like any genre of music if it's played well, you know. Like, I mean, I play harmonica, so I play everything from George Gershwin to AC/DC, so you know, it's like, you know, and I just love it.
Is that what sets blues genre apart? There has to be harmonica in it?
Oh, no, not at all. Oh, not at all. You know, you take George Thorogood, for example, you know, there ain't much harp in that, you know, he plays some lovely blues. Guys like Robert Johnson, those guys, really early blues men. There was no harp in their music, you know, and it was fabulous. Son House, he's another one, you know, early blues man. He didn't have any harmonica in his music. He didn't need it. His guitar style was just out there.
You can find out more about Marchwood Blues Picnic on their website. Another event that's coming up on Waitangi Day is He Iwi Kotahi. I spoke to Pat Spellman to find out more.
He Iwi Kotahi, it's our Waitangi Day whānau festival that happens, we do it every year around the same time on Waitangi Day. No, this is the third year that we've done it. Usually we do it out at Papamore Beach, but this year we're doing it at the Blake Park in Mount Maunganui, and we're very much so looking forward to it.
How come you decided to move the festival?
After the second go, we just decided that it was getting a little bit too big to have along the beachfront, and we wanted to to sort of enhance it, and then Summerfest didn't happen, and there was a void there left in the diary for the use of Blake Park, so we decided to sort of fill that void, and hopefully this year will be bigger than we've ever done before.
Will it be a little bit like Summerfest?
Well, a little bit like Summerfest in the capacity that we're inviting all whānau to come and have a good time. So it's totally, alcohol-free, drug-free, sort of, you can't even smoke there, and you bring your family and picnics and all that sort of stuff. So in the essence of that, yeah, absolutely is. But what we're looking forward to is the different markets and inviting people to come and do things like, sell your organic vegetables, things like cucumbers, that'll be really cool. And even, the local music and local everything is going to be really cool.
You mentioned music. Who's going to be performing?
We've got a whole list. There's over 10, I think there's 12 bands over the course of the day, local bands. Sidewalk Empire, really looking forward to seeing them, and they've done so well. They're releasing an EP this year, and we're looking forward to getting them on stage. People like 80K, which is a new covers band out of Arataki, and a local group that are doing really well, headlined by Miss Maisie Rika, and that'll be quite exciting to see her on stage in front of whānau here in Tauranga Moana. So there's something for everybody. It's essentially music that you can sit down with your nanny and your koro and your young tamariki and even the rangatahi, and everybody will enjoy what's on stage.
And you mentioned you've actually got stalls running. What's that about?
We're hoping to have a market day sort of thing, and that's what that was sort of the essence of what He Iwi Kotahi was in Papamoa Beach. There was a market sort of, situation going on there, so we hope to continue doing that this year at Blake Park and make it a little bit bigger than it was before.
What kind of stalls?
Oh, well, everything from kai right through to things like, people coming and selling their weaving and doing things like hair braiding, and essentially like a little bit of everything. Like I mentioned, the organic fruit and vegetables and people coming in and doing face painting. There'll be, things, entertainment for the kids with the bouncy castles and the face painting. It'll be quite cool.
And so this is the third year?
Yep.
So what happened previously in the last couple of years?
Well, the first one was just an idea because there was nothing on Waitangi Day, and there was nothing for whānau anyway. So a group of us at the Tauranga Moana Business Association decided that we'd just go in and find some land somewhere, chuck a stage up, and have some local acoustic music and some stuff for the whānau. Maybe have some kai and some kapahaka. And then that day we raised $2,500 for the Papamoa Surf Life Saving Club, and we thought, well, let's do this again next year. Done it again in 2014, and that turned into something quite exciting, and so we're hoping to sort of continue that momentum and do it bigger than we've done it before.
You're raising funds again this year?
Yeah, absolutely, and the two charitable recipients will again be the Papamoa Surf Life Saving Club. They don't get any government funding, so we're hoping to help them out with a bit of a cash injection toward the services and the kaupapa that they operate out in Papamoa, and then also they remove the rena fund, which I'm quite passionate about, so hopefully we can chuck some money that way. We've got a court case coming up, so hopefully we're going to line the coffers and make sure that we've got enough pūtea to fight that kaupapa too.
Why Waitangi Day?
Oh, because it's the essence of what we're trying to do is bring people together. He Iwi Kotahi essentially means one people, and there's not enough events in Tauranga Moana that bring people together. And my track record is to try and bring everybody from all necks of the woods in terms of the nationalities and where you're from and what you're up to, and bring them all together. And I think Waitangi Day is our national day, and it's an awesome opportunity to do just that.
And He Iwi Kotahi is on Waitangi Day, of course, at Blake Park in Mount Maunganui. Coming up after the break, Freelance Magazine, it's changing. Welcome back to Central News. For over 30 years, Freelance Magazine has been helping writers. In fact, that's their motto, writers helping writers. But the situation has changed.
After 14 years, Alison Creswell, who's been doing the job alone, has resigned. She wants to return to writing, and freelance was up for grabs, and I resisted for some time because I'm busy already. But I think a magazine that's lasted for 36 years is worth preserving. But I've been a little bit more clever than Alison, I think, because I've got an editorial team. It's not going to be a one-woman job.
So can you tell us some of the history behind the publication and why did it start?
Yes, freelance. I've always felt that it was a little bit like a parish newsletter. It's had the same design for 34 years now. And it came about because new writers couldn't join the Society of Authors or the Journalists Association, so they couldn't get the advice and assistance they needed when they were starting up. And it was born out of that writers helping writers ethos.
Is this a kind of how-to guide then for the beginner author?
Yes, it's got a wonderful tagline which I think sums up my life and philosophy too, which is writers helping writers. And it's always been a wonderful mix of beginners and the mistakes they make and the unexpected successes they have, and writers who have already gone on to make a name for them, who've retained a fondness for the magazine that helped them along the way, and who have continued to contribute articles. And that is a tradition that we want to keep up. I know many, many fine writers in New Zealand, and I have got many, many promises for articles from people as diverse as Gillian Sullivan. She wrote Fishing from the Boat Ramp, which is a wonderful book on creative writing. Nikki Slade Robinson, who's one of our best children's book writers. I'm hoping to get Dame Fiona Kidman to contribute an article. And Michael Morris is going to be in the first issue. So we're already attracting the names, and I've already had lots of people say, yes, please, I'd like to write an article for freelance.
So it'll basically be only non-fiction articles?
When I say we're dealing with all genres, on a basic level that's true, but we're also going to affiliate very closely with specialist organisations like the Writers Guild is for film and TV screenwriting, Play Markets for people that write plays, the New Zealand Poetry Society does an excellent job. So while we may from time to time have the occasional article on breaking into that kind of work, that kind of writing, we will always have a reference and a link to those specialist writing organisations too. And I think that's the best way to help people who do want to specialise. But that's not most of our readers. Most of our readers will be generalists. They'll be having a try at everything.
So will you do a how-to article every week, every edition?
Yes,
sorry?
we'll probably try to do something on fiction, something on non-fiction, and something on writing for children in every issue. We've got a resident columnist, Maureen Brunning, who's just written a stunning family history of the Brunning family that took her 11 years and has become in the process something of an expert. She's going to write in every issue on writing memoir or writing family or community history, because that's where a lot of New Zealanders like to go. That's where most one and only books come from. And we've got Lynn Street is very good on software and digital technology. We've got somebody writing regularly on markets overseas. But the main core will be in those three genres. But in every article, we'll also have something just for fun, and we'll have something for the beginners.
And they're expecting to launch the first edition of Freelance magazine this coming March. In the weekend was Festival One, which used to be Parachute, but it is under new management. One of the stalwarts of Parachute was Omega Levin. He's still around, and I found out the difference between the two Parachute bands and his life after Parachute.
Okay, so there's a band called Parachutes, I think, in the States, and it got a little bit awkward because they started at the same time as like the second generation of Parachute band started. So when people would come to our shows, they'll be like expecting like Parachutes from like the States and get us, and they'll be like, cool, we just drove half an hour for this. But
Oh no, I'm sure they didn't do that.
yeah, they enjoyed it. Yeah, but no, it's been cool. It's been great.
So how did Parachute, the second, I
Yeah.
should say, band actually start then?
So Sam DeYoung, who is Mark DeYoung, he's the CEO of Parachute Music. So he approached me to come and sing for the second generation of the band, and yeah, that's pretty much how we started in 2006. And then we toured for 7 years around the world, and yeah, it was amazing. I had a great experience. Yeah.
Not many people can say they've done
I know. Yeah, I think being a full-time musician, still was just a privilege, especially in New Zealand, because a lot of my friends who are musicians and people, would love to do it for a living, and so I'm thankful every day for a day. So yeah.
Now, so you, as we said, this Parachute stalwart kind of, and now it's Festival One.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Can you feel it when you're walking around? Can you feel a different atmosphere?
Yeah, you can definitely feel it when you drive down into this little area, because obviously Parachute used to be on the side, but now it's across here. So I think it definitely does feel different. Like we said before, it's definitely more focused on community and families and stuff, and it feels like a little cool festival, and so I'm really enjoying that and taking it in.
It kind of, to me, it feels like it's got more of a grassroots kind of taking it back to that, stripping it back to a real festival about community and stuff.
Yeah, and that's definitely like from the start when me and Joseph and Graham, the CEO of Festival One, that's what we were talking about, and I think it's definitely coming to fruition that it's happened, and so it's amazing to be able to live and see that community-based thing. So
now, you were part of this Parachute the Second band, that's what I'm going to call it from now on, so nobody gets
Parachute
confused.
the Second. I know to you, Parachute the Second. Yeah.
But now you've actually gone solo.
Yeah. It's been kind of unexpected, really, because I left Parachute, man. I got married, and I've got a little boy, and so I wasn't really keen to kind of make music again for a while, just to have time at home, and so a couple of my friends were just like, you still need to make music and write and stuff, so I've just started again, and it's been a cool journey, and working with different producers, and so the music is very different, because obviously with Parachute band it was a Christian worship band, so this music is very hip-hop and R&B, and music that I grew up listening to, like gospel and all that rhythm and blues stuff. So it's really it's really exciting to be able to play new music and play different stuff that I haven't usually done in the past, and for people to listen to it and to watch it is cool, because it's quite confusing for them, but I'm like, oh, it's different, but it's cool. So
it's like a side of you that they've never seen before.
Yeah, it's like my Sasha Fierce, side. So it's cool. It's really exciting, and doing a couple of tours this year, and just see how it goes, and we'll go from there.
And of course, you can follow Omega Levin on his own website or on Facebook. That is the news for today. If you'd like to contact us, you can via our Facebook page, centralnews.tv, or email us news@tvcentral.co.nz. Join me again tomorrow night for more stories from the Bay of Plenty and the Waikato. I'm Hilary Entwistle. I hope you have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.